Okay, so good day po. Ayan, welcome to our chapter 2. Now, this would be the social entrepreneurship, the fundamentals and social enterprise opportunities. So, this would be now your chapter 2, part 1. Okay, so let us define what is social capital. Okay, by definition, social capital is a concept that aims at emphasizing the importance of social contact between groups and within groups. It primarily means that social networks have a value associated and that they are not always detrimental in nature as previously thought of. Okay? So, it is a process of building trusting relationships among the stakeholders involved in the social capital. Now, this would include your mutual understanding, shared actions that bring together individuals, communities, and institutions. No? Just like what we have discussing nung past chapter natin, no? Chapter 1, social capital or social enterprises are have a relationship with one another, not only between enterprises but also with the community involved. Now, this process enables cooperative actions that generates opportunities, yung social opportunities natin, and or resources realized through networks. Again, relationship with our stakeholders, shared norms, and social agency. Now, if you will try to summarize the definition of social capital, ito na yung panglahatan. Diba? The whole society working together to achieve yung social goal. Okay? It's a social capital. Just like what you have been learning on the past management subjects. Diba? Usually we have 4 types of capital. Diba? Your physical, which includes your equipment, building, tools, everything that you can physically see in an enterprise. Number 2 is your financial, pera, yung ating money, financial resources. Again, you cannot put up a business or any type of enterprise without money. Third, capital is human. Okay, a business cannot run without people. It always involves people. Now, to yung education, the expertise of a person, the training, the experience, diba? Everything that he can use in doing his or her job. Yan yung human capital natin. And again, I will emphasize that no business or any type of enterprise can run without people. And yung fourth natin is the cultural, which includes the knowledge, cultural knowledge, the music, the language, the art, diba? That brings the community together. Okay? At yung ating fifth type of capital is what we call now as your social capital. Again, this is now the combination of everything, but to achieve a common social goal. So, a relationship process that generates the physical, here, the financial, the human, and cultural capital. Diba? A combination of these different capitals in order to create something that the whole community can benefit from. Okay? A social capital. Okay, so what are now the varieties of social capital? So we have 3. We have the bonding, the bridging, and your linkages. Now for bonding, ito yung links people based on sense of common identity, something that they share, diba? A common identity that they share. People like us, sabi nga nila. So, ano ba yung mga usually examples ito? Families, close friends, and people who share the same culture or the same ethnicity. That's why it is bonding. Sharing a common culture. Sharing a common identity. Bridging naman, links that stretch beyond a shared sense of identity. For example, to distant friends, colleagues, and associates, diba? Usually different types of people, different identities, yet we are trying to link them. Nagdudugtong natin sila. Ito yung tinatawag nating bridging. Okay? And last, we have the linkages. Links to people or groups further up or lower down the social ladder. Okay? For example, ay yung ating social pyramid dito sa Philippines, di ba? We have the rich, the middle, and we have the poor. Ayan. Sometimes we can link yung mga different areas ng ating social pyramid na yun. So we can link yung mga rich to the poor people. And I'm sure, di ba, in Facebook naman, you are seeing posts ng mga ganito, yung rich people trying to help the poor people, di ba? Yan, we have different programs. And nung pandemic, I think it's a good example yung nangyari na, I forgot the term yung community pantry. Yun yung tinatawag nila, di ba? Yung people na may kaya, they are trying to donate food, di ba? They are trying to donate vegetables, yung mga canned goods, yung mga all types of food na pwede nilang i-donate at ibibigay nila sa community. That is one example of linkages. Napakaganda. Hopefully, I'm not sure kung bakit siya nag-stop. Actually, it's a good idea. Hopefully, that program would continue in the future. Ayan. So, in social capital, we also have this concept na tinatawag natin as a negative social capital. Ayan. So, what is a negative social capital? Now, the major differences between the financial capital and the social capital is that the latter foster positive relationships. Ito yung social capital, di ba? Positive relationships with the community, with the stakeholders, and thus enhances the fulfillment and the confidence. Even after having so many benefits, social capital can also produce some unwanted results. Kasi not all social capital, no, concept ng social capital would be positive in nature. Maganda ang idudulot. Yes, it is surprising but true that when we analyze the other side of the social capital, we may find that it can put burdens on the society dahil generally social capital is not perfect. So negative social capital means that social capital can also produce negative outcomes. The potential downside includes restrictions on individual freedom, excess claims on group members, and even the exclusion of others. One negative side of social capital is we can never help everyone. Okay? That is a concept that we need to learn. Hindi natin kaya tulungan ng lahat. That's why if we are trying to help a specific group of people, di ba? Others can be excluded. Bakit daw hindi sila natutulungan? Bakit itong specific group lang? And sometimes sasabihin pa na tayo ay namimili. Di ba? A social capital, a social enterprise has limited resources. Yan ang tatan natin. We can never help everyone. That's why, di ba, in the previous chapter, we have talked about na we need to know the specific people that we should help para mas maging effective ang ating pagtulong sa kanila. And again, this is the negative side of the social capital. How about the others? Hindi ba natin sila tutulungan? Ayan. Okay? Individuals working in social enterprise need to abide a certain rules and regulations and are supposed to do only what is expected. Okay? Even if we really want to help. For example, babalik tayo dun sa community pantry. Di ba? We want to open up a pantry, di ba, para tulungan yung mga tao na nangangailangan ng mga resources, food, etc. But, then again, we need to follow the process. Kasi hindi lang po tayo pwede magtayo-tayo ng stall anywhere. We have to get permits. We have to get clearances. Di ba? Even if our social cause is good, tutulungan natin sila eh. We need to follow the process. We are still bound with the rules and regulations. That's why, di ba, na panood niyo yung news na medyo meron yung mga pulis na iba pinapasa rin nila yung community pantry because lack of certificates, lack of permits. Di ba? Again, the negative side of social capital. Ayan. Rise in social capital can also result in an increased racial diversity in communities. The negative effect of social capital can also be seen in the society. For example, women did not vote at the similar levels as that of men. This was way before na voting was exclusive to men. But the difference between them is almost diminishing. Now, this is naman yung one good thing ng ating generation today, that voting rights is equal between men and women as long as you are a citizen of a particular place. What is negative is not their participation in politics, but it is their way. It is their way that is keeping this activity off the radar. They are not focused on national or international politics. Again, the one negative effect ng capital is we are now being focused dun sa the right of the women to vote. Okay? Aside from who should we vote in the first place. Okay? Naka-focus tayo on their rights, not dun sa voting. Which is, for a country, very important po kung sino ang ipoboto natin. So we should focus on that area. Okay? Again, one negative aspect of social capital. But then again, even if we have this negative social capital, no, kasi again, di ba, a social capital would never be perfect. We should not be discouraged on doing good things in our businesses. That's why once you are entrepreneurs in the future, no, so, sabi ni sir, may mga negative side ng social capital, wag na lang ako maging social entrepreneur. No, we still do our best, no, to become social entrepreneurs. Kasi even if we have this negative side ng social capital, the positive effects of social capital outweighs yung negative side. Okay? So again, we still need to be social entrepreneurs in the future. Okay, going here, di ba? We now, since we now know, no, na we should be social entrepreneurs, ano nga ba ang isang social business? A social business is a business that is aimed at addressing a social cause. The investment made is with a vision of contributing to a social welfare and not profit entirely. Going back with our discussion on chapter 1, objective number 1 would be social cause. Objective number 2 would be profit. It will always be the second objective ang profit. Although social business may be carried out in any area, but sectors like healthcare, housing, nutrition, education, financial services to the poor and to the downtrodden remain the priority, which is good naman sa ating mga industries dito, no? Even the government. Ang priority will be still dun sa nangangailangan, yung mga poor people. Unlike profit-making organizations, success in the field of social business is governed by the amount of the impact it is able to create or the positive changes it has been able to bring in the existing schemes of things. Ito yung substitute to profitability. For non-social businesses, paano nila nalalaman that they are being productive, they are doing good in the industry? Through their profit. Okay? Mas mataas ang profit, which means that my business is doing good. But for a social business, impact po ang basis natin. If I am making a great impact to the society, it means that my social business is doing good. Okay? Impact or creating positive change. Alright? In social business, the line between profitability and social contribution is very difficult to maintain, and this is the reality. Okay? And it often so happens that social businesses become profit-making organizations after a few years of operation. Okay? They are now losing sight of what is important. Diba? Yung social impact, which is their main goal dapat, is nababaliktad na. In the long run, that they see that, this business is being profitable. Nagiging second objective na lang po si social impact at nagiging first objective si profitability. Okay? It therefore calls for a renunciation of the corporate ways of thinking because what may start as a moat might end up becoming a mountain. Since nakatikim tayo ng konting profitability with our social business, hindi na tayo naging social business. Naging business na lang tayo. Okay? Yung social aspect became the second objective, or not even the second objective, baka last objective of the company. Which is, again, if you are going to start up a social business, please do not lose sight on your main objective. Again, the main objective is to create a social impact. Okay? Now we have two types of social business. The first type is the one that purely exists for tackling a social problem. Diba? We have businesses aim to give women employment opportunities, aim to give education to poor children. Yan, yun lang ang kanilang primary objective, no other objectives. The second type is the one that is owned by the poor and can make profits. Ito yung mga community businesses natin or cooperatives. The profit can then be distributed between the poor. Okay? We have businesses here na group of people, no? Usually they are the needy people or yung mga kakabilang dun sa poor. They are building their own business, diba? A community business, a cooperative business. Diba? They will run that business and eventually they will now distribute the profits among the members. Yan, no? And those members are usually are the group of people na nangangailangan talaga. Such cooperatives, meron tayo yung mga farmers, meron tayong mga jeepney drivers, yung mga group of people with the same, let's say, profession na gusto naman nilang makaangat sa buhay ng konti. Ayan. So we have different types of social businesses here. Yung charity, pure charity. This is a non-profit, generating no revenues at all or no profit, zero profit. Charity. All proceeds will go to charity, sabi nga nila. Social enterprise combines commercial and social goals but with emphasis on latter. Okay? Priority is social impact, second is profitability. Profits are now being reinvested. Lahat na magiging profit will go back to the company or the community, diba? For this social enterprise to grow and in order for them to help more people. How about a social business? Combines commercial and social goals, investment would lead to equivalent increase in social impact. Priority would be social impact. And last, ito yung not considered as a social enterprise, but sila yung profit na company. So, profit maximizing, it's always about increasing my profit margin, increasing my income, increasing my sales. CSR, corporate social responsibility and social impact, considered to be an add-on only, used for marketing purposes, diba? But not their primary goal. Parang maglalagay lang sila niyan para masabi naman na tumutulong sila sa community somehow. Okay? Some might say that it would be damage control, no? Ayan. So what is social innovation? Dito tayo sa social innovation. By definition, it is a very wide term that it includes ideas, ways, means, strategies, and even organizations that works out innovative solutions. Okay? Innovative solutions to meet the demands of the public, especially those who live at the bottom of the pyramid. Okay? Some companies are doing this, no, yung social innovations to help the needs ng nasa bottom, which is yung poor or dun sa poverty line. Dito sa Philippines. It may include innovative fields in a wide variety of setups, like giving them access to education, giving them free access. Sana nga, free access to healthcare, community development, and etc. Going back dito sa 2, no, which is I think very important dito sa Philippines. When I say free, dapat libre. Free education, free healthcare. Okay? Looking the status of the Philippines, kasi ito ang top 2 na medyo pagkukulang talaga, especially on the poverty line. Why don't they want education? Why don't they want healthcare? Because in the first place, they can never afford it. No? Education can be very expensive. Di ba? Ang magpa-kinder ka pa lang ngayon, aabutin ka ng 30 to 40,000 a year. Di ba? Kinder or grade school. Same with high school. College, it might be higher. It is very expensive. Even if these people really want to have this education, they can never access it because, again, they need to have those financial resources. Especially the healthcare. No? Nakakapagtaka sa Pilipinas, konti lang po ang may health insurance, which is in other countries, it is a standard. Everyone should have health insurance. No? Going back yung nangyari sa atin noong the past 3 years, yung COVID, diba? I am sure marami pong nagka-COVID, ayaw lang magpa-check up dahil again, it would be very, very, very expensive. Diba? That's why some organizations, and I think the government should also, and I know the government is trying, they are giving their efforts to give free education and free healthcare. But then again, one aspect na naman, di ba, ng ating negative social impact is it can never be given to all. Di ba? Only a specific group of people, specific group of communities are given access to free education and free healthcare. You know? Even if we will try to include these social businesses, social enterprises, we can never cover everyone, para magkaroon ng free education and free healthcare. Meron talagang exclusion. Again, negative side of social capital. But then again, we should not be discouraged to put up our own social businesses in order to contribute, para naman magkaroon lahat ng access dito sa mga supposedly na makuha nila, education, healthcare, community development, etc. Okay? Yeah. The microcredit scheme, this is a good example, in Bangladesh, it created by Muhammad Yunus. It's a very good social example ng social innovation kasi yung ginawa niya in Bangladesh, nagbigay siya ng microcredit scheme para sa mga babae. Okay, dun sa area na yun. And in Bangladesh, okay, unlike sa Philippines, kasi in the Philippines we are almost equal already, in Bangladesh, medyo nasa bottom pa ng community ang mga kababaihan. So, sa Muhammad Yunus, gumawa siya ng credit scheme for women. So, anong naging effect? So, nagbigay siya ng loan for women. Okay? Ngayon, since the women in Bangladesh have access already to money, nagkaroon sila ng economic participation. Kasi they have now a somewhat a participation on the economy. So there would be an increased capital for women, increased well-being for the women and their families, women's empowerment. Okay? They are now having economic power kasi they have the purchasing power, diba? Ability to buy, to contribute to the economy. Decision-making power and changes in gender roles. So hindi na po ang decision-making when it comes to buying the needs of the family is nag-fall sa lalaki. It also doon na rin sa babae. So nagkaroon na ng change in gender role. Now imagine just by that simple concept na magpapautang lang tayo sa kababaihan, it had a major impact, okay, in the whole society. There would now be women empowerment. Okay? Ito yung kagandahan ng social innovation from small steps, nagiging malaking impact, social impact sa community. Another example dito, one of the most innovative companies around the world is the Procter & Gamble. Ayan, global FMCG giant, Procter & Gamble. For example, developed the PUR, P-U-R, a water purification system in partnership with US government, which was meant for low-income consumers, or again, those people who belong to the poverty line. The product was meant to serve as a social need, was to provide clean and hygienic water at places where drinking water was unsafe, especially in places in Africa na ang clean drinking water is very scarce. The product failed to serve well, and after 3 years of launch, it was found that the product was a failure. They could never perfect itong product. But did it stop them in continuously developing this product? Again, their number one priority is that social impact. No? The social contribution. Okay? So hindi sila nag-give up sa product. This did not stop the company to research and develop the innovation. Finally, in 2016, Procter & Gamble launched the Power of Clean Water by developing disinfectant powder, as shown mamaya sa video. The aim of this movement is to provide safe drinking water to developing countries around the world. Ito yung example niya. Ayan. A powder that you will put sa maduming water. You will stir. The water will settle. So it will separate yung mga bacteria, yung mga parasites, yung mga dumi from the clean water. Then you will filter using any type of cloth at magiging purified water na siya. So let us watch this video.
Okay, so Dr. Allgood, if you could explain everything you have here and what it's used for.
Yeah, so we're going to show you how the pure packets work to make water safe to drink. I'll start the process right away. We have here dirty water.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there's way too much dirty water in the world. About 800 million people don't have access to safe drinking water. That's one of the key Millennium Development Goals. And so P&G worked with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to develop these pure packets. And they're a simple way to take extremely contaminated water and make it clear, clean, and purified so that it's potable for consumption, so it's safe to drink.
So what is in that?
The ingredients that are in the pure packet are the same ingredients that are used in municipal water treatment. And if you think about it, that's pretty cool because everybody deserves clean drinking water. And this is a way for people in far rural villages in Haiti or Malawi to have access to the same water that we have, and quickly, because these packets are easy to ship anywhere in the world and easy to train people on how to use them. So it's the same exact ingredients that are used in municipal water treatment and have been used for generations. It's the reason we no longer have cholera outbreaks in the U.S., and we used to. But unfortunately, cholera is rampant in many parts of Africa now and other countries, including Pakistan.
Okay, so you just pour it in and stir?
Yeah, so the way it works is you add 1 packet to 10 liters. We're doing a little bit less here, so you can see, so I didn't add all the packet. And you stir for 5 minutes. You let the water settle. It'll become clear. And then you pour it through a simple cotton cloth. You wait 20 minutes, and then the water's safe to drink. So even heavily contaminated water becomes clear and clean and ready to drink.
So people have been using this around the world?
So far, P&G Children's Safe Drinking Water Program and our partners have provided enough of the pure packets to treat 2.4 billion liters of clean drinking water.
Wow.
2.4 billion liters. We know where the product goes, and the World Health Organization has data on illness and death rates in the different countries, different regions. And so we can estimate that the 2.4 billion liters have prevented more than 100 million days of illness and saved more than 13,000 lives.
Wow.
So, and it's all because of partnerships that we formed. More than 100 partners, World Vision, PSI, CARE, Save the Children, many local NGOs in different countries. Those are the people that are the groups that are on the ground providing the packets.
So do you get money back from doing this, or where does the money come from and go to? How does it all work?
P&G, through our P&G Foundation and also through some of our brands, contributes to the program.
Okay.
And we have other partners that are providing funds to the program. Some of our partners are funding. What we found is that safe drinking water is cross-cutting across the Millennium Development Goals. And you can make other development efforts work better if you provide safe drinking water.
Right.
For example, the CDC has measured that providing the pure packets and hand washing in schools reduced school absenteeism by 1/3. A recently published study showed that it was sustainable and it reduced school absenteeism, and that's a great way to break the poverty cycle by keeping kids in school.
Okay, so what are your future plans for this? Are there going to be more available, or?
Well, there's a couple things that are our future plans. One is that P&G is committed to save 1 life every hour by scaling up the P&G Children's Safe Drinking Water Program. This means more efforts to raise awareness. We're going to build a new manufacturing plant so we can make enough of the pure packets to do that, and then we'll scale it up. Also, some of our P&G brands now are getting behind the calls. We have a skincare brand in Asia that Kate Blanchett is supporting. It's called SK2. They just launched the Clear for Life Foundation. CoverGirl here in the U.S. It's a P&G brand. 2 of our CoverGirls, Queen Latifah and Danya Ramirez, have been behind CoverGirl Clean Makeup for Clean Water campaign. And finally, Pantene, the largest hair care brand in the world, has just launched a campaign called Healthy Hair for Healthy Water. And all of these are raising funds so that we can provide more clean drinking water. And we want people to think about contributing to clean drinking water.
Right.
And so efforts to raise funds to contribute to csdw.org. Every dollar that's provided will provide water to a child for 50 days.
Okay.
So we've been stirring for about 5 minutes now.
Right.
And you can begin to see the particles come together. The ingredients in Pure sort of work like a dirt magnet. It pulls the dirt, the worms, and the parasites out of the water so they can fall to the bottom. And then it has a disinfectant in it, so it kills the bacteria and viruses that cause cholera and dysentery and typhoid fever. So it purifies the water quickly.
Right.
And one of the great things about this technology that we developed with the CDC is that it provides such a strong visual impact. So even if someone doesn't have a lot of education, if they take their water and they add this packet and it gets clear, they believe it works because they can see it with their own eyes.
Right. So what's the next step after this?
We let it settle for a few minutes, and then we'll pour it through a cloth. Really, any cotton cloth works. There's nothing special about the cloth. And it's just really to help decant the water so none of the particles have to be floating in the water.
See it all separated.
One of the things that we announced today is a partnership to help people in Pakistan.
Okay.
The floods in Pakistan have impacted more than 20 million people. And one of the very top priorities is clean drinking water.
Right.
The normal water supplies that weren't very good in some places already are ferocious now. People are drinking out of streams. They're having to drink the flood water that's highly contaminated. And unfortunately, disease outbreaks are already occurring. Now, for the Southeast Asia tsunami, for Haiti, the international community did a really good job of preventing the second wave of death that occurs from unsafe drinking water in these emergencies. We're not doing that in Pakistan. There is a second wave of death that's occurring right now because so many people are dying, so many children are dying from unsafe drinking water. So PNG and our Children's Safe Drinking Water Program have combined forces with the United States Agency for International Development and the U.S. State Department to have an effort that's going to provide clean drinking water with the Pure packets to more than 1.5 million people. We're going to provide more than 250 million liters of clean drinking water. And we're really grateful to USAID and the U.S. State Department. The U.S. State Department is using funds that Americans contributed through the Pakistan Relief Fund, and those are the funds that are going to go to help provide Pure, provide the right utensils, and importantly, make sure that people understand how to use the product correctly.
So do you see a day where everyone around the world really could just have access to clean drinking water?
Certainly, everyone deserves and needs to have access to clean drinking water. There's no other foreseeable future that's right. Everyone needs to have clean drinking water through a variety of ways to do it. Hopefully everybody will have pipe-treated water coming out of their faucets someday.
Right.
That's not a reality now. Right now, 4,000 children die every day from unsafe drinking water. So we need a variety of tools to enable people to clean the drinking water now and save lives. And the last step is to filter.
Okay.
So we stirred for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And maybe you can hold the cloth.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And then we pour through this cloth, and then we wait 20 minutes, and the water is fully safe to drink.
And then you can just go right ahead and drink that?
Yep. It's really a simple process that we've measured people know how to do correctly when they get a little bit of training.
Wow.
So you can see that we have clean drinking water. Cheers. It's a healthy water.
To healthy water.